Okay, what is going on, everybody? So, I haven't really posted a video on this channel in a while, and I thought I would turn on my iPhone and basically talk to you guys for a little bit. Um, I gotta make this brief though because I think I only have 10 minutes, and I think my battery might die. But for those of you guys who are subscribed to my main channel and have seen the video that I posted entitled "Is My Dick Soft?" For those of you who've seen it, know that it was about an erectile dysfunction situation that happened to me a while back. Now, for those of you guys who haven't seen it, feel free to click on an annotation anywhere here, or the link will be down below so you guys can be caught up to speed. I'm not really going to go into detail right now because I don't have a lot of time, but for those of you guys who've seen it, my cousin and my friends especially who know the story, who knew of the story before the video, watched the video and they liked it, but they kept saying, like, you didn't finish the story. Why didn't you tell them, you know, the whole thing and like how you recovered and all this stuff and blah 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 and all this shit. Now, first of all, the reason why I made that video, and I actually mentioned this on Vocal last night, but the reason for the video was because it wasn't, I wasn't trying to be braggadocious or like, you know, say like my traumatic story, my dramatic story, and then be the one of those. I didn't want to be one of those guys basically who's just like, oh yeah, it happened to me, but yo, I recovered and I was like amazing and you know all that shit. Like, no, like the point of the video was for me to share my experience, and get feedback from other people, other guys especially, who have also gone through that experience as well, to kind of show the world that, you know, situations like this happen. You know what I mean? Even if you watch some like porn star interviews, like male porn star interviews, they'll tell you that on set sometimes that shit happens to them too, right? So I mean, and there's a lot of things that, you know, attribute to why a guy might have that happen to them at that time. But my friends were basically coming down on me for the fact that I didn't reveal why my situation happened to me. So I figured I would, you know, address it in a vlog real quickly because I only have 8 minutes. But essentially, the reason why that happened was because, to make a long story short, the girl that I was seeing at the time, we weren't dating, we weren't like a boyfriend and girlfriend or anything, but you know, we were seeing each other, I guess, for lack of a better term. But the thing was, she was moving away, and we literally only had like a month together. So she kind of brought up the idea of, you know, being intimate without actually having any strings attached. So basically a no strings attached relationship, basically just strictly sex, nothing more or nothing less or anything like that. And of course, being a guy, I agreed very quickly. You know, I was just like, hell yeah, for sure, because I just come out of a relationship too, and I wasn't really looking for anything serious anyway. And even if I was, it couldn't happen because she was leaving. So so yeah, so basically, you know, one night we got together, and we were getting into it. Everything was getting intimate, and I could not get my shit up. It just was not happening that night, and it was a very awkward situation for me, and I guess a very disappointing situation for her. And ultimately, I had to call it a night and drive her home, which was the most awkward night of my life and the most awkward moment of my life, in fact. But the reason for that was because I actually ended up catching feelings for her. Now it was kind of weird because I've had a no strings attached relationship before. Never had a problem. I've done one night stands. Never had a problem. Never had caught feelings or anything like that. But with this girl, there was something about her, and you know, I just immediately caught feelings for her. And when we got into it, you know, I was trying to trick my mind into thinking, okay, you can't become invested. You can't get attached because she's leaving. You got to remember that this is just pussy to bang. That's it. That's nothing more, nothing less. But I couldn't wrap my head around that, and I was just like, no, man. I'm like literally like fighting battles in my head, trying to like, you know, persuade myself to, just go through with it and get shit done, but couldn't do it. And it took me a while before I was able to confess the fact that I liked her. And I actually thought that after that night I was never going to see her again, so I figured there's not really much of a point. But, she initiated contact with me again, and we ended up hanging out with a group of her friends and my friends. And I was silent the entire night because the whole time I just wanted to tell her how much I cared about her. But she was kind of very nonchalant around me. Like, it was kind of like I kind of took it as like, she only treated me as like a sex object and nothing more. And like I wanted to be something more with her, even though I knew that that wasn't possible. So I ended up telling her that, I cared about her or whatever, and she was taken back by it. She was caught off guard, like, what the fuck? Are you serious? We agreed, like, we had an agreement. This is not how it's supposed to be. And so I realized that I kind of just dug a hole and buried myself even deeper. At least that's what I assumed. And then the time when I told her, she was planning a trip to Montreal with a group of her friends. So they went, like, after our conversation, they went off to Montreal for the weekend, and she said she would contact me when she came back, and we would talk about it more. But I figured, because I didn't really get a response, or the response that I was hoping for, I figured it's fucking done. It's whatever. I should just cut my losses, and that's what I tried to do essentially. But 3 days later, she comes back, and she messages me, and then she's just like, yeah, like, I actually realized while I was gone that I really missed you, and I've been thinking about you all weekend, and I want to see you, and I think we should talk, and blah blah blah. So she invited me over one day to her house when her uncle wasn't there, and yeah, long story short, again, we ended up doing it, and everything was fine because I didn't need to trick my mind into thinking something else. So I was good. I did my thing, and everything turned out all right. And yeah, we basically kind of crammed a year relationship into that entire month that she was there, and it was bliss for the time that we had. I mean, it was a great experience, and we had a lot of fun. And yeah, but that's essentially kind of why my situation happened like that. But sometimes it's just nerves. It can be health risks or whatever, health reasons or whatever like that. But my situation was kind of just more of like a psychological reason behind it or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. But it wasn't. I didn't really feel it necessary to include the fact that I recovered because that wasn't the point of the video. Like I said, and 10 minutes remaining on my battery. Okay, so yeah, I gotta wrap this up right now. So I got 2 minutes. What else can I say? I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I don't know if that sums it up. I know some of you guys don't really care to hear the fact that I recovered. Even if I recovered, I mean, I didn't recover that night, so it's still kind of bad. But yeah, I mean, I still held it down and everything. But yeah, it is what it is, man. And that shit happens, and you live and you learn. But basically, my hopes with that video for why I made it is, I don't know if I just mentioned that just earlier before this video, but anyway, my hopes was that if it ever happens to any of my fellow watchers out there, they can, rather than like sitting down there and getting all frustrated at the girl or frustrated at yourself or disappointed or whatever, you can just look back and be like, oh, this happened to Tactics. Like, this is funny. I remember his video and all the jokes and whatever, and like y'all can both laugh about it and realize that it's not really a big deal. I mean, unless of course you have some kind of health risk or something like that, like diabetes, then maybe you should go to the doctors and get that shit checked out. Like, if it's happening on a consistent basis, yeah, go to the doctors, man. There ain't no shame in that. But if it happens one time, maybe you're just jerking off too much. Who knows? But anyway, I gotta wrap this up now because I only got 10 seconds. So I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for subscribing, and check out my main channel, Tactics 87, TACTIX. Peace, and I'm out.